Hey guys, now that school is back in session, it's more important than ever that I make sure my kids are fueled up for their day. 9 p.m. on a Sunday, I am back to school breakfasting. But I'm also more crunched for time. So today I'm gonna share with you 3 delicious back to school breakfasts that will save you time and earn you an A+ from your kids. All right, first up we have pancrepes, and these are a cross between pancakes and crepes. And one of the things I love about this recipe is you can make them ahead. So on the weekend, I go ahead and make a double batch, stick them in my refrigerator, and then I just pull a couple out at a time to reheat either in my microwave or my stove. The other thing I love about this recipe, I make it in the blender, so there's hardly any dishes. First up, I'm gonna add some eggs. Dump those right in there, and then I've got a little bit of cottage cheese, and this is so nice. I'm using low-fat cottage cheese because it has a ton of protein. Next up, I've got a little bit of sugar for sweetness, and I'm using cane sugar. Then I've got some flour. You can also use whole wheat flour if you want an extra boost of nutrients. And I also have some low-fat milk, just a little bit. And finally, I've got some oil. You can use melted butter, coconut oil, or vegetable oil. And then an optional ingredient of vanilla. My kids love this, so I'm gonna add a dash of that and then get my blender going. You want a nice smooth batter, but you also don't wanna overmix. You're gonna heat a large skillet under a medium-high heat. I'm gonna add a little bit of ghee to my pan so it doesn't stick. You can also use butter. Next, I'm gonna pour some of the batter into the pan and then quickly swirl it around. You want your pancrepes to be pretty thin. Cook on the first side for about a minute until you start to see bubbles all throughout the pan crepe. Flip and cook for about another 30 to 45 seconds. I like to stack these up and let them cool down before I stick them in my fridge. These pan crepes are so great with a little bit of jam in the center. For a treat, you can use Nutella and strawberries, or if you're looking for something heartier, eggs are great too. How's yours?
Amazing.
Next up we have these mini egg muffin bites. This is another great make ahead recipe because you can put them in the refrigerator and pop a few out at a time to reheat. So I've got some eggs, and to that I'm gonna add some milk. This will help make the eggs nice and fluffy. And then a sprinkle of salt. And then I'm gonna whisk them up because you're basically just making an omelet in a muffin tin. Today I'm gonna use a mini muffin tin. You can use a regular one, but my kids really like how these are bite-sized, and I've gone ahead and really buttered these because this can be a sticky mess if you don't do that. I've got a 1/4 cup measure. This is just gonna help me scoop them in and not spill all over the place. And I'm gonna go in and fill them about 3/4 of the way up. All right, my eggs are in the muffin tin. You can tell I'm only making half of a recipe today because I ran out of eggs, so I filled the rest of my tin up with some water so it doesn't burn. The final step is to top it, and I'm using a little bit of cheese today, but if your kids are more adventurous, you can try spinach or bacon or sausage or whatever omelet toppings they like. Now these go into a 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes. These mini egg muffins are such a great bite-sized breakfast to help your kids stay full until lunch. Next, we have a DIY yogurt bar, and I'm gonna start with some Greek yogurt, which I love because it has a ton of protein. I'm using an unsweetened variety and a 2% fat. I'm gonna add just a little bit of sweetness with some maple syrup. You can also use honey, but this maple syrup is great because it's anti-inflammatory and it also has a little bit of zinc and calcium. So this is just a taste. I'm gonna drizzle it in, and then I'm gonna stir it up. The rest I leave out for the kids to kind of mix up themselves. Avery loves cinnamon, so she'll just sprinkle some in and mix it up. And then I love to leave out a little bit of flaxseed meal. This is great for fiber and omega-3s, so we'll sprinkle that in and mix it up too. You can also just use this as a topping, or you can even use whole flax seeds. They add a nice little crunch. And then one of the things I love to do to make this a little bit more special for the kids is I've got these empty jam jars that I just save, and that way they can make themselves a parfait. So they spoon it in, right in here, and you could do it as a parfait or really just layer everything on top. Make this a hearty serving. Next, I'm gonna add a little bit of bee pollen, and this is so nice because it adds extra sweetness, so you don't need as much maple syrup, and it's also really, really good for immunity and has a nice little crunch to it. So I'll sprinkle that on top. I've also got some blueberries, and these are a superfood with tons of antioxidants. Raspberries or strawberries are also a really nice option. And then finally, I've got some walnuts. This is another superfood, and it's really high in fiber and omega-3s, and they add a really nice crunch to this parfait. So I've got whole ones, and I'm just gonna break them up with my fingers and sprinkle them on. That's it for our DIY brainy yogurt. One of the things I love about using a jam jar, a mason jar works just the same way, is that you can put the lid on it, and they can take it with them in the car if you're running short on time.
Little reading and breakfast on the go.
I want some.
Sorry, Apes.
All right, guys, I hope your back to school transitions are going smoothly, and I hope you guys give these recipes a try.
Is that the happy to be back to school dance?
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.